Howdy, friends. Welcome to week 5, episode 6 of the DLC Policy Corner. And this week was a little bit slower than the previous weeks, and it allowed us to catch up on a few things. And here's Nate to tell you about a few things that we caught up on.
So I think one of the things we caught up on this week is we were able to get some comments out to the Executive Appropriations Committee on our recommendations for funding, and we will be posting those to our website for anyone to look at if you want to try to take a look and see if there's anything you want to agree with us on and maybe pass along to members of that committee. And then there were a couple of just quick updates onto the education bills we've mentioned before, or actually 3. One is HB 114 from Representative Harrison that sought to increase the number of school nurses from 1 to every 5,000 to 1 to every 2,000 students. That bill actually was substituted to give school districts a couple more years to actually implement that. So I don't think it actually goes into effect until I think it's 2024 or 5. Andrew says 2026. So that's what I'm going to go with, because Andrew knows all. And so that one actually passed out of committee once it did that. Again, it's a step in the right direction, and it's going to take time to implement, which is unfortunate, but it's still a step in the right direction. And then the other quick update is just the bills we've mentioned in the past, Representative Judkin's HB 113 and Senator Fillmore's SB 118. Our understanding is because they did similar things, they're going to be combined into one bill. Our understanding is that's going to be Representative Judkin's bill, but we're going to keep an eye on that and keep you updated. As we've mentioned before, I think the big question is just whether they get the funding they need, and we're still hopeful on that as well.
So we're going to follow the legislature's lead and try something that they like to do, and that is we're piloting a new segment this week called Good One, Bad One, and you can probably guess what that's going to be. We'll do a good bill, and then we'll do a bad bill. The good bill. This week's good bill is HB 320, which we have talked to you about before, that would create a Bill of Rights for people subject to guardianship. And as we told you, we liked this bill last week, and got some good news about it this week. It's passed through the House, and it's on its way to the Senate, and we've been in communication with the sponsor, and we hear that there might be some additional changes coming to it that, from our perspective, have the possibility of making it even stronger. So we'll keep you posted on that. The bad one is HJR 15, which is a resolution titled "In Support of Employment First." I guess the good news from our perspective first on that is that it's only a resolution, and resolutions don't have the force of law. However, we do have concerns. We understand where the parents and families that are in support of it are coming from, and that they are concerned that their family members who are currently receiving DSPD services will experience change as the home and community-based settings rules come into effect over the next couple of years, and they're concerned about that change because they feel like they haven't been the communication with families hasn't been as strong as they would like, and they haven't gotten the kind of information that they are hoping for about what the future holds for their kids. However, we think that the resolution is probably not the best vehicle to go about asking DSPD and others to engage in that kind of conversation in future planning. And on top of that, we are concerned that a plain language reading of the resolution itself could result in maintenance of some options that we feel could potentially violate federal law, including the ADA. So we, along with a couple of other folks, spoke against it in committee the other day. It did pass committee and is now on its way to the floor.
All right, now it's my turn for the pilot project, a little good one, bad one. So starting off with something we brought up last week, HB 313, we mentioned that we had some concerns about that bill and its impact on people who assist voters with marking their vote by mail ballot. The good news there is that that bill was substituted out, and it all those concerns about people assisting voters and what they had to do to be able to assist a voter, that's all been stripped out, and so none of that takes place. So we really don't have many concerns about this bill. There is some stuff in there about cameras on ballot boxes, and I suppose it's possible that we see that as a potential reduction in ballot drop boxes, but we'll have to wait and see where that goes as a matter of with election officials at the local level. So that's the good one. That bill did pass, but really nothing to be concerned about there anymore for us. And then, however, we do have the bad one, which is HB 371 from Representative Lyman. This bill is, you may have seen some coverage on it. It's actually a pretty big rollback of a lot of voting provisions. It takes away vote by mail as the primary voting option. It wants to return to in-person voting, return to paper ballots. It really is just kind of rolling us back to an era of voting that I don't think anyone wants to go back to. And certainly this would have a pretty significant impact on voters with disabilities. So we are opposed to this bill, and we'll be keeping an eye on that one.
And here we go for round two of good one, bad one. The good one is HB 413, Medicaid amendments by Representative Dunnigan. And the piece of the bill that we particularly like there is it creates a group that meets at least quarterly to look at and make recommendations around mental health and substance use services in Medicaid. We are hoping that Representative Dunnigan will be open to clarifying that this the study group would also be charged with looking specifically at making recommendations around how to expand access to community mental health services through Medicaid as well. So we are hopeful there. The bad one is that we are guaranteed 2 more weeks of this joy, and the bad news for you is that means you have at least 2 more weeks of us and maybe 3 to look forward to. Lucky you.
All right, well, thank you everyone for watching. Andrew tried to end us on a downer by saying that was the bad news, but I think it's great that you're going to continue to hear from us. That's what I say. As always, remember to follow our bill tracker, our budget tracker, and the calendar on our website, disabilitylawcenter.org/public-policy. And thank you again for watching, and we will see you next week.
Ciao.